look at me. I kicked her off the stage for just a minute. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our Vital Voices session. We welcome those of you in person as well as those of you who are joining us via Zoom land. Hello. Hello to all of you. My name is Dr. Diane Miller, and I am the Interim Associate Dean for the College of Public Service. And we are just so excited to be hosting this session tonight. I want to get the title correct. Bridging Technology and Compassion, the Impact of AI in Education and Social Services. Now, I'm excited to introduce the topic, but I'm also excited to introduce our speaker because I know it's going to be fabulous because years and years and years and years ago, she was a fabulous student of mine at UHD at the Kingwood campus. So we did a little bit of children's lit together at that point. All right, so you're going to have a fabulous speaker who used to be a fabulous UHD student. Before we get to the main event, though, I get to brag a little bit. The Wall Street Journal recently ranked UHD among the 400 best colleges in the U.S. Specifically, we were recognized as being #1 for diversity and #3 for student experience, two things that are super important to us. And there are a lot of wonderful things happening here at UHD, yes, all over UHD, but then specifically for the College of Public Service, we've got some bragging rights as well. We have our Master of Science in Criminal Justice. It's been recognized as one of the best online programs in the country by U.S. News and World Report for the 6th year in a row. Woohoo. We have some criminal justice representation over in this area here. Very proud. And our urban education program is also getting some awards. We were one of only 5 programs from across the state to receive a commendation for preparing the educators that Texas needs in bilingual and ESL certification areas. It's considered a content area shortage in the state, so that's really cool. And moreover, the program was one of only 3 programs in the whole state of Texas, which is a large state, I don't have to tell you that, for preparing educators for long-term success, which means our teachers are in the classroom longer than most of the teachers who get teaching degrees in Texas. So that's a pretty cool thing too. Here we believe that a public service career, whether in urban education, social work, hello, welcome, or criminal justice, it's not just a job. We really view it as a calling for people who are passionate about serving our community. And so our faculty, students, and staff make the College of Public Service a very special place in which to work and learn, and we're grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with us this evening, either in person, enjoying this wonderful pizza, so please help yourself, or online, get your own pizza, because we can't get it to you that way. All right, so with that, I want to recognize our speaker, but first of all, I want to just give a round of applause to Mr. Stephen Villano. He's the director of our Center for Public Service and Community Research, and he makes this speaking series happen. So he's over there. Thank you, Mr. Villano. And he's got a sign-in code is what he's doing. So if you've not signed in and you're here with us in person, please do so. So now, Kayla Almaguer currently serves, and I probably didn't say that right, so please forgive me. I never did. She currently serves as an assistant professor and AI faculty fellow at Lone Star College Tomball, where she's the founder of the college's first generative AI, Artificial Intelligence for Nurturing Success, that's GAINS for short, certification program. She also contracts as an associate analyst, collaborating with a Fortune 10 technology company on large language models. She's pursuing her second master's, like she already got one, she's getting another one, in clinical mental health counseling at Lamar University. There's also a little doctorate happening in the background too, so she's multitasking. Kayla is passionate about learning and leading with compassion and understanding. And through did I say passionate, compassionate? I don't know if I said that right. Let me say that again. Kayla is passionate about learning and leading with compassion and understanding. Through human-centered, AI-informed instruction, she hopes to teach others how AI can help them in their daily lives. And she says it's not as scary as I think it is and that we're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm excited to welcome Kayla to our Vital Voices stage.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me very well, but I tend to get very loud. So if you can't hear me right now, you will hear me within the next few minutes. Okay. I'm really, really bad with names, but I'm going to learn yours, I promise. Marvelous, I got you. Maribel? Got Marbella? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it. My Zoom people, feel free, chat it up. I cannot see the chat, but I have a feeling that Stephen will let me know who's saying what. Some of my bestest friends are here, so these people I know. Hold on, this is Stanley. That's Dan. That's Chris. Steven's over there in the corner. My new people who walked in, I don't know who they are. Let's go see. My gentleman right here in the gray. That's you. Or blue, I don't know. Nasser. Nasser? Adam. Yes, ma'am, it's you. Vivian. Do you go by Viv? I love your name. Vivian. Okay, my two here. Sorry, it's pizza time. Sorry. Alex? Maxine. Okay, I'm gonna work on it. I really love interactive things, so I will probably ask you to interact with me, and I wanna apologize ahead of time, but I will call you out, and that's why I learned your names. So, the first thing I'm gonna tell you is if you are a lover of presentations, as I am, Gamma.app is for you. Gamma.app is a generative AI tool, and it quite literally makes beautiful presentations within 30 seconds, depending on what you feed into the presentation format. This is made with Gamma.app, so I will share this presentation with you at the very end, but I also want to walk you through some tutorials, so I will, at a later time, I will walk through Gamma.app, I promise. But first, a little about me. Okay, I love teaching. I have been teaching since I was, oh my gosh, it's almost been 10 years now. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. Okay, so I love teaching. I have a wonderful daughter and a wonderful best friend, and my entire family is in the back. I tried to get as many students in here as I possibly could, but I couldn't take away my grandma, so, you know, it is what it is. I do really well with community building. A lot of people ask me what I teach, and I really teach community. That's what I teach. And in reality, communications. But, you know, it is what it is. So first and foremost, how many of you have used ChatGPT? Yay! How many of you have used Google search in the last 8 to 12 months? Y'all better be raising your hands. Okay, everybody's used AI in this room then. Everybody. How many of you have used GPS and connected it to your car? Yeah, AI. How many of you watch Netflix and it recommends certain things? That's AI as well. It's not scary. You've actually been using it for a really long time. There is a difference between AI and generative AI, which I'm gonna just shorten down to Gen AI, all right? And I tried to put the things in purple that we are going to be dealing with in our session so that you don't get confused. So Gen AI is literally what it says it's doing. It's generating something. And for this presentation, we're not gonna go into audio and we're not gonna go into video. We are going to go into text and images because I think that it's the most useful. And I also think that it's going to make your life so much easier. One of the things that I do wanna put a little asterisk on is almost everything will be free that I'm showing you. Almost everything. Not quite everything. But if I put it in here, good chance there is a free version, okay? We'll go over quite a few of them. So let's see. I love to do story time. If you are on TikTok or Reels and you know about story time, I love story time. There are so many reasons that you would want to generate text. These are just a few, y'all. These are just a few. I want to ask you for interaction. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay. Why would you want to use an email generator? That's one of my best friends, y'all. That's Erica. She's giggling. Why would we want to make sure that our email is generated correctly? If you don't really like the person you are emailing, you might have a tone. You don't know you have a tone because you just don't like that person. Quite simply, you just don't like that person. So the email might come off a little itchy, right? A little prickly. So what you're going to do is feed it into your bot and ask it, what's the tone? You can also ask it to fix the tone. If you're already like, hey, I know I don't like this person, so I know I probably have a tone, right? And it will make it very business-like for you. And so there is one of my favorite TikTokers, he takes the tone of the message and says it in a completely different way. And I just realized that I have jazz on in the back. Sorry. If you were ever my student, you know that that's a thing for me. I'm always playing music in the background. Sorry. my Zoom people, that's my bad. Okay, so study buddies, budgeting. What else before we move to this? I want to really make the point that you would generate this because this is going to even the playing field for a lot of us. So when we're thinking about the wealthy have things like trainers. They have things like nutritionists. They have things like event planners. Now you do too, right in your pocket, right? You have a little baby computer in your pocket. And now that baby computer has a little bitty assistant. Mine looks like a little robot because I made him. But now you have all those things too. And you should be taking advantage of it, y'all. I can't stress that enough because how else are we going to balance it out? Okay, here are images. Okay, there's a little asterisk. I know you can't really see it, but let me just be clear. The asterisk says that they are made with DALL-E 3. You have to pay for a subscription in order to obtain this level of clarity in DALL-E. But if you're wondering, what do all these images have in common? Let me give you a moment. And my people who are online, please feel free. What do all of these images have in common? Yes, I made them. Okay, that's not the answer, but I will call on someone if no one tells me anything. Oh my gosh, Steven is raising his, oh, is it for a chat person? Oh, it's for Steven. Okay, Steven, go. No, I'm so sorry. I did not hear your name because we did not speak. What is your name? Insia. Go ahead, ma'am. Oh, wow, that's beautiful, but no.
Repeat what the audience says.
Yes, providing some sort of service, and then Steven said they're all AI generated. It's not that they're wrong, it's just not the answer I'm looking for, so I'm gonna keep
We have
going.
online Charlie saying they're original.
Charlie says they're original. I love you, Charlie. They are original because they came from my fingertips, but no. Dan, you got it. Diversity. They're diverse, right? And so what I was doing was I was really trying to break stigmas. I was trying to think, what stigmas do we have? And so the first image I came up with was creativity. And then I was like, meh, that's kind of boring, right? And I had to do that light bulb like 5 times. That light bulb took me forever. And I'm still not happy with it. So one of the things that I know a lot of educators are worried about is that the students are no longer thinking. That cannot be further from the case. I am probably generating images, I don't know, 80% of it is my own brain trying to evaluate if I like the image. And the other 20% is probably the bot giving me those things. But I have to go through and I have to really analyze, is it giving me what I want? And so that right there is critical thinking. That is me being an independent thinker. Okay, I also wanted to do things that we wouldn't normally see published just in mainstream media, right? In the United States, you're really not gonna see a ton of female construction workers. Is it because they don't exist? No, it's because they don't get a lot of media attention, right? I almost put a welder, but I was like, nah, the construction worker looks better. The judge, I don't know what she's wearing, y'all. It looks like a bib, but I swear I put either judge or lawyer. And then the other 2, I just put a father who is a stay-at-home father. And then I think I put a disabled or a physically impaired person. I can't remember what I put, but that's what it came up with. They were both wearing cute hats. So I was like, I'm gonna keep that one too. You can now include everyone. You can now make your images look like you. That's huge. That is huge. And again, you can get this for free with Copilot, but not with DALL-E 3, okay? I will show you a couple of different options though. Okay, now there's another question. There's a lot of things that specifically generative AI can do. AI can do a whole lot, but generative AI can do a lot. We're gonna play another game. All right, Charlie, I have faith in you, my online buddy. There is something that AI cannot do. It cannot do it. It has something to do with both of these images. I know that it looks like there's 4, there's not. There are actually 2 images, but they're in 2 frames. So the first image represents something, and then the second image represents something. but the frames do a really good job of depicting that message. And I'm going to wait for the people inside of the room, but if the chat's going off.
Claudia says culture.
Claudia said culture. Oh my goodness. Not quite, Claudia. Again, it's not wrong. It's just not what I'm looking for. And so we're going to act like it's wrong. Anybody else? Maybe some of my friends.
Charlie says nourishment.
Charlie says nourishment. Charlie, you might need some pizza. No, it's not nourishment. Go back to chatbots, y'all. Go back to chatbots. And again, notice, I use generative AI for all of this. You're still thinking, right? It's not getting any easier. I'm not spoon feeding you because it's about how you use it. So does anyone want to try again? Because if not, we're going to start with this one of my lovely lady and her abuela. No? Okay, wait, but what are you trying to say? Sorry, I know that you can't hear her on the chat, people can't hear her, but what she's basically saying is something about the older woman. Oh, she looking good. Okay, she's basically saying the old woman looking good. That's just an accident, y'all. I don't know. The chatbot did that by itself. Oh, a filter. Probably. They both look really good, y'all. So that's true. Sometimes they will not look really good. I'll show you. There was a gentleman picture in here, and his eyes were like gone.
We have two people on.
No eyes.
Jerry says emotion.
Emotion.
And Laura says traditions.
Wow.
Claudia says lighting.
Wow. Okay.
Relative to generalization of a group of people.
Relative to generalization of a group of people. Okay, is that Charlie?
No, that's Sandy.
Okay, getting crazy now. Okay, we were on the right path. The very first one was on the right path. So the first image, that is the two frame with the two women, I wanted to teach prompting in a way that anyone could appreciate. And so we talk about talking to chatbots. That's literally what we're gonna do like today. But a lot of people don't understand what that means. And so I'm gonna story time it. I want you to imagine that you are this lovely, lovely woman reading the recipe book. And your abuelita has passed on, all right? Don't get me crying because I'm gonna go see my grandma in just a few weeks. But she has passed on. She has left you this recipe book. And you are going to try to attempt to make an enchilada dish, okay? You're gonna try to attempt it. Now, the one on the left is your grandmother's. The one on the right is yours. Do they taste the same? Nobody thinks that they taste the same? Wow, oh my God, did you not make them with love? She said the love isn't there. You still made them with love? Oh, grandma's love is different than self-love. Yeah, my grandma's love is kind of mean. Sometimes I'm like, Grandma, can I get a hug though? What do we think? Is that the reason why it's different? Oh, now you getting into it. Okay. Remember, when I generate these, they just kind of generate. The chatbot does its thing, right? All I'm doing is typing in details, but it's very close, right? It's not quite the love, but it's the emotion. It's the chatbot is going to try its best to make those enchiladas, cookies, brownies, whatever your grandmother makes for you that makes you feel really, really good, or your father or your mother. The chatbot's going to try its hardest to give you what you want, but it will never be identical to what you are imagining in your mind. Because what you are actually imagining is you as a human being. You have a cognitive ability that the AI will not have anytime soon, I hope. And if it does, we'll talk about it. You can come back to me and freak out, and I'll use my LPC to give you some therapy. But for now, it does not do that very well at all. So things like humor, super hard for the chatbot to do, super hard. Things like writing a eulogy, I don't want to tell you why I did that, but I did do that, and it was terrible. It was very bad. So when you think about talking to a chatbot, what I want you to think about is something that will try its hardest to help you, but it can only do as much as you give it. And so if the recipe book is half finished, well, then the chatbot's not going to make a good dish, right? Meaning, if you don't talk to it with a lot of detail and a lot of context, what you're gonna get is not gonna look like enchiladas. It's maybe gonna look like a tortilla with like beans on it. And it's like, here you go. This is what you asked for. And you're like, no, it's not. Well, it's probably because you only put a sentence in that bot. One sentence does not make an enchilada. So now I want to talk to my educators. And if you really think about it, y'all, everybody has the ability to be an educator. You can all teach someone something, even just by your existence, right? So the first thing that I want to tell you is lesson planning and materials. Bestie, she's going to talk, because I'm going to ask her too. What do you use it for? She's a teacher, by the way.
Differentiating for my SPED and my EBs.
Okay, SPED, special education, EB, emerging bilingual. So, lots of acronyms in education, y'all, so I'm making sure that everybody knows. Differentiation is amazing. The chatbot will know immediately, because you're telling it, how you can teach something 5 different ways for 5 different levels of understanding. It's incredible. You don't like those 5 ways, ask for 5 more. You don't like those 5, ask for 10 more. And you can do this pretty much until you go weak in the knees. This is the gentleman, by the way. Look at his eyes. They're like demon eyes. I probably generated this photo like, I don't even know how many times. I lost count, but I stayed up really late trying to get his eyes to look human. They don't. But it was as close as I could get it, and I was tired of it. So grading and feedback. 1, there is a huge debate over whether or not you should be using your chatbot to assess. Notice the word is not assessment up there. The word is grading and feedback. So here is my very quick, and if you are our teacher and you want to know more, you can email me and I will make a whole presentation just for you. But for today's purposes, grading and feedback look like templates for me. And so I have a template, and the grading usually is tiered. I don't really grade A, B, C, D, F. I grade accept or approval, needs revision, or like basically you got to scrap it, homie. I don't say that, but that's what it is. Those 3 tiers allow the student to figure out, basically using the feedback, what specifically that they can change. And I can give them the ability to change different areas of the assignment, depending on what they value, right? That is massive. Now I'm encouraging the student and empowering that student to do what they feel is the most helpful for them. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever been in a classroom, you cannot learn as fast as they're giving you the information. It is impossible. It's just not realistic. So grading and feedback, I love, because the bot can work so much faster than I can work. And so if you ever thought about, wow, it would be really nice. I went to a conference a couple of years ago, and they were like, it'd be really nice to have a TA. You got one. It's free. It's free 99. So here is tailoring for different student needs. I just put diverse, y'all, and it came out really well. This was one of the images where I was like, wow, I can just use that image like that. Not any of the other ones were like that. The professional development. Let me just tell you, it gets tiring to go into a professional development. If you've never been, thank your lucky stars, because they do the same thing over and over and over. And you're like, oh my goodness, this is tiring. This is taxing. Now you don't have to. Put in your plan and then ask the chatbot what else you can do to make it more interactive, to make it more fun. And it will give you as many options as you'd like. I really love there was another one on here that I didn't put, but it was basically teaching students in different ways. I didn't want to overwhelm the educators in the room, so I didn't do that. But I'm going to pause because this is not my last education slide, because it's all education basically, but I would like to pause for the teachers potentially in the chat. I have no idea. I don't have a lot of background on the people in the chat, but I appreciate y'all being here. Steven, Do they have questions? If you are a teacher specifically, and if my boo has questions, she could just ask me when we hanging out. Is anyone a teacher in the room? Oh, not you, Erica. Sorry. Do you have a question?
I'm one of these faculties kicking and screaming to go into AI. And there's all kinds of reasons for that. But I love these images though. And I'm just kind of curious if you're doing AI and you do want to use images. I think for somebody who's kicking and screaming, that would like be the path of least resistance to kind of get your foot in the door, get your foot wet. So like if you're using these images, the first thing that pops in my head is copyright. Do you have to like, is there like a bank of images that you can kind of pull from that don't take you into copyright? Isn't that horrible how I'm thinking about all that, about copyright? Because, you know, I'm just curious about that. And where do you draw or pull these resources to kind of like, if you wanted to like jazz up your canvas shell, you know, which is, you know, what I would start with if I was doing AI. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Steven, I want to make sure that the chat is chatting.
When you
Yeah,
work,
Charlie.
What AI tabs do you always have open?
Oh, I actually have them open right now. We're going to get into that because everyone's going to pull out their phone. They're going to do it. I will get back to Charlie. Anybody else as far as the educator side?
Dr. Mitchell is asking, how do you know that when you use the AI for assessing and differentiation, it's appropriate for your students?
Good. Okay. Copyright first. This is kind of crazy. It's going to sound crazy, but it's true. I promise. Everything that is generated is new. It's new. It's not patchwork. It's not something being replicated or duplicated. It's brand new. And so there is no copyright because I technically created it, right? Technically, I did. There has never been an image that looked just like that, ever. Those people aren't real. Now, their likeness, maybe, but there is no copyright on the images. And when I generate these images, y'all, the way that I'm getting it to look the way that I want, here's where the critical thinking comes in. Here's where the students are still gonna learn. You have to write. That is the idea behind how perfect the image is. It's back to the enchilada plate, right? If I didn't give enough detail, I'm getting rice and beans and nothing else. But if I put in what I wanted, not only do I need to continue to cook, right? Quite literally, I need to continue to cook, but I am not gonna get it in one go. Like I said, out of all of these images that I generated, one of them was good to go. And every other image, I had to continue to iterate over and over and over. That is thinking. That is my cognition going up, 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 up. Because I have to figure out what I want it to look like. What is my purpose? Which is why I probably spent more time on the images than anything else, if I'm being honest with you. So, second question, the assessing and the differentiation. Back to the enchilada plate. This is why I love it so much, that recipe book. I am telling my bot what my student demographic is. So for one class, this is real. I have a co-requisite class, and that's just a fancy word for there are people with learning disabilities in that class. There are people who had in high school some kind of plan that supported them, and it didn't follow them in college. Why? Who knows? But I don't have any paperwork on them. However, I know those students. I know if they have siblings. I know their favorite color. I have relationships with those students, and I tell the bot what those students need. And how do I do that? Well, I ask them. I ask for feedback. Can you give me what you need so that I can get my bot? And so I'll have the Google form usually because I love Google, and I just download all of the feedback. And then I feed it to my bot and I say, this is what the student said. It doesn't have their names, it doesn't have their student IDs, it literally just has their feedback. And that's how I'm informing the bot. And if Charlie has a follow-up.
Yeah, let's see here.
wish I could see the
There's
chat.
a lot of stuff here. Well, this is he doesn't have a follow-up, but there's someone else that asked, how do we encourage students to do the work to make sure AI information is accurate? Sometimes they just use the information word for word.
I love that question because I have an answer for it. I want to get there. We're gonna get into AI tools, I promise.
All right.
I
someone
can't
else-
see a clock though, so I'm like in Vegas right now. There's no windows. That 6 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, because no one's gonna look there, son. Oh, there is. Okay, there's a clock right here too. Okay, I promise we will get there. We are going to use AI tools. I will force you, Steven?
Do you want me to tell you the other questions?
Yeah. Oh wait, questions. My gosh, the chat's getting crazy. Okay.
Do you cite your sources in the presentations you provide or list the tools perhaps? And
Yes.
what restrictions would you tell a student to have when using AI? So we
Oh.
do not always rely, but see it as a resource.
I have answers for that one too. Okay. All right. Y'all are getting me moving. Okay. Let's move. So for my social workers, for my therapist, for anyone who is in the humanities, actually for anyone in the room, I'm going to be honest with you. This is an incredible tool. I will say I have a friend who hates doing her notes. She hates doing her notes. Hates. I cannot stress it enough. And if Lenny is watching, I'm talking about you. The chat bot, now they have very specific chat bots that are becoming HIPAA compliant. But before, right, I had to figure out a way that she could put things in without actually naming the patients, which was very easy, y'all. One of my very first summer sessions that I rolled out AI, they wanted to be like 90s female singers. So I had like a Mariah Carey, I had a Janet Jackson. And all they did was they took on those names, and then the chatbot knew those names, and they knew that that was that person. That was it. There was no sharing of information. There was literally, they were one of them, Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, right? And so when you're thinking about case documentation and note taking, we're not thinking about personal information in the way that you're thinking of it. We're thinking about it as a placeholder. And the notes, again, templates are your best friend. When we think about having very intricate notes, you have to be careful. For all of my LPCs and LSW, the social worker one, be very careful with how intricate your notes are because they will be used in a court of law. And so you should probably be knowing those policies and procedures prior to actually using a bot, right? And then resource recommendations. Oh, I have a great story time, y'all. Just bear with me. I had a student a couple of days ago. Love him to death. He hopefully is watching. Jose, hello, if you are. He had, unfortunately, heard from his wife that one of her student sisters had passed away. And his wife works at a elementary school. And so the sister was older, but they were trying to figure out the resources, how do we get her remains back to their home country? And they had no idea. And so I just so happened to be going over what they asked me for in that class specifically was how do we do conflict resolution using a bot? And so I ended up using Gemini, and Gemini is plugged into live search, and now ChatGPT has it too, but Gemini was first. And it gave all of the resources. It gave lawyers. It gave the names of counseling services. It gave all of the free options. It was incredible. It talked them through exactly how to send her remains back to their home country. And he said that there is no way that they would have even known where to start. There's just no way. It was not possible. And so when we talk about resource recommendations, I'm talking about things that were very much available the entirety of, probably the last decade, but no one knew about them. This is why it's powerful. This is why I really encourage you to use it, because why not? Why would we not? Okay. I have a question in the audience. Son, go ahead.
Thank you. I have two things to share. I think, of course, I'll wait for you. I want you. Okay. No worries. I actually, on the previous slide, was it the same guy that you happened to make the demonic eyes, unfortunately?
Yeah, the demonic guy's there.
Yes.
Oh,
He's
no.
happy now.
Oh, no, it's him.
Oh, it's a different guy. Okay.
Oh,
And-
I have two demons?
No, that's the same. It looks the
He's not
same
good
guy.
with eyes, he's not. I don't know why.
Oh shoot.
Is it this one?
Yeah, this one and that one. I think they're different. The second thing, I feel like AI might be taking control over the emotions because we all are spending time on a screen and on a phone. So it does definitely have a record of our frequent visits on any sort of Google search or anything like that. So I feel like they can predict our emotions because some like these days what's happening, like I was thinking of HEB. I just thought about it and I got an ad about HEB. So I'm pretty sure that they're trying to find out our emotions. What are we looking for? And immediately in HEB, like let's say I'm looking for some Cheetos. I literally get a Cheeto bag in my cart without me adding it. So I think AI will head there.
And just to be clear, they do listen, right? It's marketing. They are paying attention, right? And this has kind of been happening since you had a phone. So a lot of us in this room remember what it's like not to have a phone, and you weren't off the grid. But I have some younger people. You've never been without a phone. You don't even know what it's like to have to go outside and entertain yourself. It was crazy. We were throwing sticks and stuff. It was physically dangerous. But what I really want to extend to you is it has been happening for so long, literally since the beginning. We are at some point going to see emotive AI. Not quite Terminator, of course, because Sarah Connor took a long time to get there. But we will have more and more intelligence becoming more and more accessible to us. That is literally the reason why you need to be informed. Because you can't have people who regulate that technology without people who know that technology. That's insane. So if you're all not aware, then yes, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you are aware and you're informed, right? Maybe my educator specifically, maybe you teach the person that becomes Sarah Connor, who eventually leads to whatever. If you've never seen Terminator, go watch it. It's a great movie. Terminator 2 is better than 1. Resource recommendations. Okay, here's my next one. Mental health check-ins and support. So now we can have multiple plans for our patients. If you have a client that for whatever reason just has no understanding of boundaries, now the AI will tell them in a way that they are not going to immediately break down because it's a robot, right? It's a robot. And so if it needs reminders, if the patient needs reminders, it will remind the patient. It will provide them with support. We are getting into social emotional AI, which is a slippery slope. It is a slippery slope. But insurance companies are going that direction, y'all. Yeah, because they don't want to pay therapists because it's expensive. Mental health is expensive. And so you will be seeing more of that. Self-care and burnout management, that's for my therapists. Because if there's one thing that I know about therapists, you want to help others because you know what it is to need help yourself. That is why you are probably doing what you are doing. And so the self-care and burnout management is really for the counselor so that they can know. Remember, you're telling the bot whatever it needs to know in order to do what you want it to do. Go back to the enchilada plate. The self-care and burnout, I had to do this. I was just talking actually to my best friend that is sitting over there, her lovely self and her bangs. I want to create an outdoor space on my balcony because I need a space where I'm not working. And I cannot work outside, is what I'm telling myself. That's what I'm telling myself. And if she sees me with my laptop in my lap, I want her to take it away. Don't take it away. But I am trying my best, and my bot is helping me do that. I had told my bot, what are your suggestions? Because I cannot seem to stop working. And it was like, here you go. Here are all these suggestions. And one of them was create a space, a specific space just for self-care, just for mental health. And I was like, well, it's not my bed. It's not my kitchen. It's not, and literally every single part of my apartment I have worked in at one point in time. Bathroom included, y'all. Bathroom included. It's crazy. Now that I say it out loud, I need help. But that balcony gives me hope. It gives me hope. And had I not asked my bot for help, y'all, you probably are sitting in the room or you're sitting in your home and you don't like asking for help either. You don't want to feel like a burden. Guess what? Your bot is a bot. It's a robot. So, it's story time again. Prepare yourself. The GAINS program is a certification program, and if any of my cohort is in here, cover your ears because you know who you are. I am going to talk about them. One person in particular, and I love her to death. And she's back of house, just like Cami. So she knows all of the AI technical things, but none of the humanist, how to communicate it to others thing. Okay, she was talking to her team about an issue that she had in the workplace. And it was about a woman who was spraying perfume throughout the day. And my friend was getting a headache every day from the perfume. And the woman was very nice. I tried to make sure that the AI knew, no, this woman's nice, because the bot kept trying to make her look mean. And I was like, no, like at one point in time, she had like a maniacal smile in her. And I was like, no. She was a really nice lady. Well, my friend, who's now depicted by this lovely redheaded woman, she just didn't know what to do. She did not know what to do. I'm gonna ask the audience and my chat, of course, what do you think she did literally in the real event? Because I gave her an alternative, but what did she actually do? What would you do? Oh, dang, she went off on her? Oh my gosh. No, she's really sweet. I don't know that she could even do that. And it's not a great thing, right? Because she really should have said something. Passive aggressiveness. I can actually see her maybe doing that. If you're watching, I'm so sorry. But I could possibly see her doing that. Yeah, like the stone cold, like stare down. Adam? Quit the job. She gets paid good bucks because she's a techie girl. She did not quit the job. Thank God, because she wouldn't be with me. The only reason that she's able to be in the certification program is because she works for Lone Star College. Anybody else? Oh my God, y'all are so nice. I thought that that's what she may have like actually done. She did not ask her to stop spraying it because she just didn't know what to do. Adam, you want to try it again? See, he said she stole the perfume. She did not. She is not that gutsy. She is not that gutsy. Steven, is anybody, Charlie maybe? And I love Charlie because that's my dad's name. And so, an air purifier. Wow, y'all are just like circumventing the actual issue here. Yes, she went to her manager. Look at Marvelous. She went to her manager and tattled. She was like, I really think that you should talk to her. And guess what he said? I'm not talking to her. I'm so sorry, but I'm not talking to her. Because he was uncomfortable, right? And so what I told her, because this was like in the moment, in the moment it was happening, is to go to the bot. See what the bot says. And then I told her, better yet, make the bot the other person so that you can build empathy and try to figure out why is she spraying that perfume so frequently. I have no idea, but in my mind, the way that I build compassion for the other person, because I always try to do this, it's basically CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. I thought about what if that scent was her mother's scent? What if that scent was her grandmother's scent? And it was bringing her, hi lovely, it was bringing her to that memory again. What if that scent meant something to her? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what happened. But my coworker just lit up and she was like, I never even thought of that. But this leads me to my next one. So not only are we building empathy, but we're now encouraged to self-reflect, right? And I have no idea what happened, by the way. I think what she said was that woman was moved out of her office. So it kind of like fixed itself. But when we are self-reflective, we are growing, right? It's when we are external and we are blaming everything outside of us. That's when we're stuck. But when we are internal and we're saying, well, what's in my circle of control? This is my LPC talking, forgive me. At that point, we take the control back, right? And our power returns to us. So the self-reflection, I'll show you how to do this. I have a lot of different prompts for you, but you can have your own journal that's personalized to you and your needs, right? So like for me, one of those big needs is not working myself to burnout, or living in burnout, I should say. So it helps you gain perspective. It really allows you to take a look in that robot mirror. And I want you to know that this one, I did not know why the bot made it look like he was like a little kid, but in a grown-up room. I just want you to notice though, look at those lines on the sheet. Can you see them? They are incredible. I was really proud of my bot for this one. I was like, wow. You know, and like when you're watching Brave and Merida's hair is just like, you can see every single strand. You're like, you know that they stayed up really late on Pixar and somebody worked on that hair. Those lines are crisp.
So when you say you're using your bot, what are you referring to? What bot?
I use ChatGPT and I use Dolly 3 that's built in. I pay $20 and one of my other best friends, because I have a wonderful support system, he lets me use his Netflix for free. And so I cut my Netflix subscription and I got a ChatGPT subscription. However, you don't need to. You don't need to. Copilot will make them and they look pretty good. The images in Copilot are pretty good. Now you do have a limit. I want to say it's 30 per 24 hours. But as long as you're really specific about what you want in the image, it will get very close. Very close. And I'll show y'all if you want to see it.
I'm a little lost. How did the chat help the person in the office with the problem with the perfume?
I'm going to show you. I'm glad you asked. Okay. Real quick. Who's this? Is Edna Mode, right? Okay. This is one of the ways that I use it that I think that a lot of people aren't thinking about using the bot. When you hear using a chat bot, you might hear, oh, recipes, planner, very direct things. What I like to think of is the story of The Incredibles, okay? So prior to The Incredibles, they had always had teams of writers, always. The Incredibles was done by one man, and he really had the idea. He really wasn't a big comic book reader, so he said that anything that was in The Incredibles, it was just a coincidence if it seemed like the comic book style or the powers, right? He said the man is always meant to be strong, so he has strength. The woman is always meant to be flexible, so she's Elastigirl. And the kids, right, the teenage girl she wants to not be seen, so she is invisible, right, which is Violet. And then Dash, he's got like crazy amounts of energy, so he's super fast. I don't know what happened with Jack because he's crazy. But the idea was that Pixar had never done this. Pixar had never let someone take over, not just the writing, but all of the storyboarding. Like, they had never done it, and they did it. And not only that, but they couldn't find someone for Edna Mode's voice. And so they let him do it. And now we have Pull Yourself Together. It's one of my favorite scenes of all time. And it's because Disney took a chance on someone that was doing things differently. He did it differently. And he really sold it. He was like, no, this is my baby. I wrote this when I was in college. Like, I really want to do something that I know is risky. And for me, that's what the innovative part is you can now do it many, many different ways, and the chatbot will help you. It will support you. So here is where we get into how to talk to a chatbot. And you know what, y'all? Let me make sure sorry, I worked on this like all the way up until we actually presented today. And so I want to make sure I'm using the not correct, but the most updated version. One moment. Oh, my images, I love them. I just like, that's basically like one of my little hobbies now, is just making images. Oh, thank you. I'm proud of me too. Okay. And my bot will tell me too. It'll tell me praise too. I'll be like, can I get some praise today? And it's like, you're doing a great job. And I'm like, thanks. So here's how we talk to it. And this might help. I don't know if it was Steven's questions or someone in the chat's questions, but this might help. And again, you are getting this presentation. Everything that I do is free because if it's free, it's for me. And why not, right? We're not going to balance out the inequalities of the world if we're not sharing. That's insane to me. So it's free. You can have it at the very end, I promise. This is probably the easiest way, and I'm going to show you a graphic as well, like a visual representation, but I like to teach it as though I'm a director on set. And the director is directing one bot, one robot. You have to tell it who it is. So who is it acting as? That's the role. That's number one. So that's sentence number one, and I'm going to show you what this is. The context, it needs to know what is going on. What is going on within that situation. So like the perfume situation, I had to put a lot of parameters on it so that it would know that she couldn't quit her job. Like Adam was like, oh, she's gonna walk off. She couldn't tell the person off, right? I had to put parameters on it. Examples, quite literally, you say, for example, comma, and then you give it an example. Okay, examples are everything, y'all. I think a lot of people don't use examples in the first like talking situation with a bot. Please use examples, it's great. Style and format go hand in hand. So style, student-friendly language. If you're a middle school teacher, you would say literally 7th grade student. And sometimes those babies, 5th grade students, 3rd grade students. Talk to me like I'm 5. You really gotta get down there. By the way, because I'm looking at my lovely Erica, it will translate to and from any language you can think of. Not the dead ones, but almost any language you can think of. Yeah, and so the student that, Jose, I hope you're here, the student that did all of the research using Gemini for how to get that child's body, and she was a child, the child's body back to her home country, he did everything in Spanish, everything. And he gave it to the parents. And they were in tears. He was also in tears. I tried not to be in tears, y'all. But I've been crying a lot lately. Shout out to my dog. Okay, so here are some example prompts. We're not going to go through all of them, I promise. But I wanted to show you kind of what I was talking about. And Stephen asked this question about building empathy. So the first thing was the chatbot as a character with a different perspective. So if you're getting in a fight with your in-laws, make the chatbot your in-laws. If you're getting in a fight with your husband, make the bot your husband, okay? If you really, really want to, you can make the bot a therapist. I really love that one because sometimes I'll be crazy, I'll be tripping. And so I need someone to just set me right. And I don't want to hear it from my friends. They need to be saying I'm a queen, and they do. I want to hear it from something that is not as biased, right? Which is the bot. The self-reflection, like I said, make it a journal, make it a coach. You can absolutely do this. You really need to know yourself, though, in order to know what you are needing from the bot. Gaining perspective, y'all, I love the future self one. The future self, the bot as your future self is incredible. And what I did is I fed it my resume. And I was like, what do you think I'll be in 5 years? And then it gave me all of the praise in the world. And I was like, stop, ChatGPT, you're so silly. Innovation, a creative partner. Now you're not alone. You are not alone. You have a buddy that will be your critic or will be your cheerleader, or you can have all three. You can have a buddy, a cheerleader, and an innovation coach, whatever you want. The chatbot will do it for you. Okay, so Stephen, this was your question, and I want to make sure it's answered. Does this make more sense? These are example prompts. So this is an example of what you would feed into your chatbot, such as ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot. There's quite a few now.
Okay, so for innovation.
Yep.
Examples are, let's come up with ideas for a side project.
Yep.
Brainstorm fun, achievable goals I could pursue over the next month. Well, how does it know who you are? What I could pursue? How does it know that?
What would you be feeding it? Context. These are just very brief stems, but the context is everything. And just because I had already used this example, I want to extend on how the balcony situation came to be, like my outdoor area. I don't have time to read Atomic Habits and You Are the Mountain and all these other self-help books that I'm sure I love, and I'm sure my best friend has read some of them because she reads constantly. I don't have all that time. So what I did is I told ChatGPT, act like you read those books. And I want you to tailor all of the suggestions you give me in this thread to those books. And I just did like the top 5 best-selling self-help books. And those happen to be the titles that it came up with. You don't have to use just one chatbot. If I'm being completely honest, my students use all of their free chatbot prompts within like 30 minutes. And guess what? They just jump on the next bot and they're like, so they probably have like 5 bots up, and I'm gonna show, I think it was Charlie, all my tabs that I have outside of this tab, because there's a lot. This is the graphic that you will get in the presentation, but I got it from LinkedIn, y'all. This is probably the bread and butter of all the things that I do, everything that I have learned. LinkedIn is amazing. It is amazing. So it's literally a community of learners that are sharing things for free. That's what it is. This is exactly what we just talked about, but it looks like a paragraph now. That's the only difference. So for this example, it's you are an experienced LinkedIn marketing strategist. Then I am a digital marketing agency owner looking to promote the benefits of hiring virtual assistants. So context, who are you? Who is the bot? Remember, you're directing a one bot play. And so who's the bot? Who are you? In 80 words or less. This is very specific. It's very specific. Write a LinkedIn post in 4 bullet points that highlights the cost savings, increased efficiency, and ability to delegate tasks. Wow, they use they use ChatGPT to write the date. Y'all, usually when you see an Oxford comma like that, the 3 listings, that's ChatGPT. Usually that is a chatbot. So be on the lookout. Use a professional but friendly tone and limit the post to 200 words max. I've seen them on the OpenAI presentations. He literally put the parameters of like, you can only use keywords and you can only use 5 words. It did it. And I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So here are all of the chatbots for you. I'm gonna give it to you. I promise. We, because my bot helped me. It's always a we. My students want to know, is it your feedback that I'm getting, or is it the chat bots? And I said, it's us. You're getting our feedback. So when we did it, I said, well, what would be the most useful? And so I watched yesterday's presentation and I took note, that's how I know Charlie, of all the questions that were being asked, and I wanted to extend on them. So one of the main questions was the free. Is it free? That's why I put the things in green that I did. There are all free versions of this, but I want to hit the question about accuracy and the source verification. I don't remember who asked it, but somebody in the chat asked it, and we're actually gonna go to Perplexity AI for that. So let me just show you all my tabs. That's me. This is my website. You can Google it. Then here's LinkedIn. This is all of the things that I save constantly and I put them on the website. I promise I will give you all of those. Here are all of my tabs. There's so many, y'all. And I probably missed some too because this, Edge. I can't stand Edge. Sorry, Edge. Sorry, Microsoft. It just is what it is. So let's go to Perplexity. And I just want to show y'all really quickly. They look a little different, but they all have similar types of interfaces. And so the first thing is the thread. Perplexity AI is the one that I use with students almost every day, almost every class. So the new thread, think about it like Reddit. If you've ever gone to Reddit, it's a thread, same concept. So you're just gonna keep the same focus, the theme of the conversation within that thread. So I have a self-help thread. I have a AI presentation thread. I have multiple, but they're all based upon one topic because I'm trying to make sure that my bot is knowledgeable in that one area. So don't use the same thread for everything. Then you have search anything, but here's where things get wicked. That's what my other favorite TikToker says. And yes, I love TikTok. Write about it. Here is the academic tab. It will only search for published academic papers. Only. Math, I don't use that. Social, don't use that either. Video, no, I really don't use that one. But let's just say that I am going to learn about Europe's new search engine. Look at what pops up, y'all. Sources are the first thing. And all you have to do, and this is why my students, they use one normal, regular MLA citation paper, but they also will provide the chatbot log, and they will talk about how they use the bot, right? Because I'm all about process, I'm not about product. If you wanted to see where the sources came from, obviously we are still teaching students how to evaluate if the source is credible. Almost, woof. I cannot think of a time, y'all, that Perplexity has let me down, because if I showed all of them, here's all of them, right? And sometimes I'll tell them not to use it just because it's like Reddit or something. But look, this is Wired, this is CNBC. These are, I mean, major companies that I would say were, at first glance, of course, are going to be just fine for anyone to use. There is always a pro of everything. There is a paid subscription for everything. So do not worry, you don't have to pay for it. I also want you to know that you can upload files. And why would you want to upload a file? Because we are busy. And some of us don't understand concepts upon reading them for the first time, or the second time, or the third time. I don't know about my other educators, but I love when students tell me, I say, well, what do you do when you don't understand something you read? And then they say, reread it. And I say, do you understand it on the second read? Nah, miss, I don't. So what do you do then? I reread it again. I'm like, do you understand on the third read? Nah, miss, I don't. And I'm like, baby, it's not working. I don't know what you need. But now they can attach it and they can say to break it down, right? Those complex, whatever is happening that they're not getting, now it can be broken down for them. So this is Perplexity AI. I'm going to give you the link, I promise. It is one of my favorite chatbots, but it is by no means the only bot that I use, because that would be silly. I am also going to have everybody try a bot. So if you want to use ChatGPT, it is the, OG. You can. If you want to use perplexity.ai, you can. There is also Claude, which is very simplistic in how it responds. So if you like that sort of thing, good for you. I don't really like Claude anymore. I don't know. Microsoft Copilot, I just like that it makes pictures. That's all I really like, because I like making pictures. That's it. But if you want to, educators in the room, I have a really fun activity that will show bias. For example, one of my students, we play a game. We always play games. It's like Saul up in there. We love it. So I had them do a challenge where they needed to find the biases within the bots, and it would not create a black superhero. I was really annoyed. I was like, why? And every time it would generate, the superheroes were like, they were like really big and buff and beautiful. And I was like, wow, what about a mom? Why isn't it creating something normal, right? And so it's very interesting. If you wanted to see about the pictures, you could. Gemini and Poe. Poe has been a new favorite for specifically my GAIN certification program people. It's an aggregate chatbot, which means that it pulls from all the other bots. They love it. That's total. If it's your thing, it's your thing. I do want to go ahead and say where it's pulling data from. So if you are writing in a Word doc, and it's an online Word doc, do you think that what you are writing belongs to you? What do you think? I mean, 5 years ago, yeah, it belonged to you. And now it belongs to Copilot. I can show you how to turn these things off so that they're not They say they're not, taking data from it. But same thing with ChatGPT. So be very careful with what you are giving to it. Again, it is probably already got it. I'm just letting you know. But before we get into our little tool practice, because I do want to practice with you, because I just want to make sure that everybody knows that this is not something that you should be scared of. This is something that you should be excited by. I want to make sure that I, of course, talk about ethical use. I always tell the students, if you're using it, I'm using it too. I always tell the educators, they are using it. When in doubt, assume the worst to be your best. That's what I like to say now. That's my motto. I had an instructor, actually she's a librarian and she's a lovely person. She was like, but what if they're not? And what I did was I told her, let's go back to your undergraduate career. And let's imagine that you were working your full-time job. And at the time you were taking 4 classes. And then somebody came and told you, hey, I have something that will do all your work for you. What would you have said to them? Nah, I'm trying to be ethical right now. I don't want to be about that life. Come on now, Marky Mark, you would not say that. You would immediately say, what's up? Let me see what you got. They're using it. They are using it. My students are using it because I force them to use it. And then they're like, Miss, I'm tired of using it. I'm like, I don't care. Because we have to stop the stigma, y'all. The more you, and this can be said about literally any sex, right? If you don't talk about it, they won't do it. Clearly, that's wrong. Pregnancy rates will differ. I need you to just be transparent if you are using it, especially with students, because it's not fair to them to think that this is an intimidation tactic. They should know that you're using it as well, if you are using it, of course. Security and privacy, we've kind of already talked about. Make sure you understand how your data is being used. If it is gathering your data, because again, you can turn it off. What do you lose by turning it off? Intelligence, right? The artificial intelligence is not as accurate. It might not be as useful as it would be. Now, do I have some students that they still turn that filter off? Yeah, I do. I also have some students, y'all, where they'll make a dummy account. So their email is not their email. It's like John Doe 287456. And they will link all of their bots to that account because it doesn't have anything that they're worried about. And of course, I look at everything. The Perplexity AI is my go-to because it provides sources. They are steadily becoming more and more source-driven, but AI is not, it's not a tried and true. It's not 100%. I don't think it ever will be, y'all, because we see in the movies, how about iRobot? Have y'all seen iRobot? Because nobody has my Terminator references. Okay, if you've seen iRobot, Sunny is kind of the idea. If you've seen The Wild Robot, that's a positive rendition. But again, humans need to be the people to make the determination, because the question about thinking, that's where the thinking happens, is when you look and you evaluate and you try to figure out, is this what I want or is this not what I want? Okay, I told you I would give it to you. If you would like to scan, the one on the left is my site, and it basically has everything that I think that you need in order to get started. And it has educator tabs, and then it has student tabs, and it also has parents in there as well. That's a new one for me. The presentation, of course, that's the gamma.app. And I'm not going to use any credits because I love my credits. What if I have a presentation at the very last minute, y'all, and I need my credits in order to make the presentation? I can't use all my Gamma credit app. So you do have a limit to how many things that you can generate. For everything that is free, it has a limit. But a lot of times the limit is enough. Like, it's enough to get you through. For example, Gamma. I have not reached my limit yet, and I've been using it for probably almost a year, maybe more. So let me show you what will pop up with both of these QR codes. This is the first one. If you want to see my students writing, it's so cute. They have little baby eyes instead of the capital I's. Here's all my presentations. They are free Free, 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 and they are also linked. And then here's all of the tabs that I was talking to you about. And if you just clicked one of them and you wanted to learn the basics of how to use generative AI, this is just going to redirect you to LinkedIn because that's where I get all my stuff, right? And so this is literally the list of free versus paid AI. And I'm going to be honest with you, y'all. A lot of these on this side, like Perplexity, for example, I think it's better than a lot of these on this side that, you're getting paid to use, or I'm sorry, you're paying to use. So I want to show you all of them. So here is ChatGPT. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, raise your hand if you've never, ever used a bot before, ever. Adam, don't put your hands up anymore. What? Why? What'd you put in there? Oh. Okay, so there are certain things that a bot will not help you with. For example, if you are talking about building a bomb, it will immediately shut you down. It'll be like, we're not doing that. If you are, for example, we were doing one of the games that we like to play, and one of them it was just like a very quick fun thing. They were making a tweet about a Karen or a Kevin. And so a Karen or a Kevin, someone who is irrationally mean to customer service people, and it would not create the Karen when they described her as an angry white woman who was racist. Would not create it. It was like, nope, can't do that. And there are ways around it, but ethically, it will not do certain things. And it's tightening up, like the things that it will and will not do are tightening up. So let's just go and see if we can play with it. You ready? I'm just gonna go and get one of my prompts because that's what they're there for. And I wanna show Steven, which one did you ask me about? The innovation? So I'm just gonna take it, y'all, and I'm gonna move it over. Okay. Boop. Let's go back to my bot. She's better than my bot. Look at that. And I'm just gonna. Boop. It's better from a real person, but my bot. Okay. All right, so I just went in and I deleted all of the labels. So I'm gonna put act as a creative partner. And so if you're thinking about, especially my English teachers in the room, this literally is what we teach. We teach writing as focused, right? We teach it as purposeful. We teach it as organized. We teach it as audience guided. We teach it as detailed. This is good writing. That's all it is. We're still teaching the exact same thing. So act as a creative partner, brainstorm, and I'm just gonna make this a nice little paragraph for everybody. Brainstorm new ideas for a project, passion, or personal growth activities. Let's come up with ideas for a side project, and then I'm just gonna make it, again, playful, encouraging, free-flowing, and then be my creative brainstorming partner, ask questions, encourage me to think beyond my usual limits, and I'm gonna send it. Yeah, look, it's starting to ask me. Okay, and I'm just gonna do code. Let's do coding. Not that I have any interest in coding, but I know Cam does, and that's why we're gonna use it. All right, endless possibilities, I love it. Now, what is happening here, y'all? A lot of my educators are worried that the bot's just gonna spit something out. If you're doing it correctly, it's not gonna spit it out, because the enchilada plate, it's not going to come together. It doesn't even know what to do with, the tools that it has. So do you have a favorite programming language? That's the question. So it's exactly like if I was talking to Cam and trying to tell Cam, teach me how to code. I want to know how to code. And Cam's like, bro, that's not how it works, right? So it's still forcing them to know something about what they want from it. And I'm just going to go with it. So let's do Python. Boop. And this is like one words, right? I want to build games. Oh, I want to building games. And I'm writing like a student, y'all, because if you've ever seen a student write, it's like 2 words. Okay, look at that. Oh my, let's brainstorm some game ideas. Y'all, I don't know if you teach GT, which is gifted and talented, it might be called something else now. But students who really love research are gonna love the bot, because the bot now allows everything that they wanted to do that was just moving way too fast for the teacher who had 28 other students that they needed to get to, and this one student is just taking up all their time. Now they can go to the bot. And so all of these things, it's forcing them to think. And so a lot of my students have a tutor thread, and it literally helps them with whatever they need help with subject-wise. And I will show you that it looks a little different on, I hate Copilot, y'all. I'm not using Copilot. I'll use Claude though. It looks a little different on each of these different interfaces. Oh, we're not gonna do that, just kidding. Nope. What about ChatGPT? Is it gonna let me do it? Start now. Because I want Adam to try it again. Come on, big money, big money. Hold on, it's doing the think thing. It's doing the dots. Okay, yeah. Look, here's my dolly. So here is all of the different models. Remember that I have the paid model, and I can absolutely show you this temporary chat real quick, because I want to, for those of you who ask questions about privacy and security, the temporary chat is fairly new, and it's awesome because now I have an answer, and it's literally click the temporary chat. There's no history and there's no model training, so they do not gather any data on you. The memory is wiped. It's wiped. So those of you who literally just want to use it for basic things, turn on a temporary chat. You don't have to worry about it gathering anything, because temporary chat that's literally what it's for, is not doing that. So I turned it on, and I'm going to go ahead and oh, what do y'all want to do though? Because Steven, you saw the creative buddy, and it literally had a conversation with me. What would you hate doing during the week? Dishes? I hate dishes. I used to live with my best friend. She knows I hate dishes. I hate washing silverware. I don't know why. I hate the silverware. I love plates. I love washing plates. Let me show you what I actually have done before. Hold on. All right, those of you online, act as a life coach, pump me up to do dishes, turn it into a game. I love games. All right. Oh, I even got little emojis. Look at that, suit up. Okay, magic shield, power potion, weapon of choice. Those of you who are parents, you're welcome. You just got the dishes done. The child is gonna have a great time, right? You will gamify everything. I love games. By the way, I said I love games in there. So it even has a time limit on here, y'all. I want you to see, I'm on a temporary chat. This is not my paid subscription. This is a temporary chat. And so suddenly, things that were very time consuming become a little bit less difficult, right? Bonus round, a bonus clean sweep. I love sweeping. I love sweeping. I love vacuuming too, but I love sweeping more. So now suddenly life becomes fun. It's fun, right? Now, I'm not gonna tell you to stop going to the psychiatrist and, not go to your therapist, no. But I am gonna tell you that the AI is going to help you with whatever you want it to help you with. It just depends on, again, the enchilada plate. How much detail and context are you giving it? So, do you wanna play a game? No, Adam, you are not welcome in my home. Gosh. See? Now I have help. I want you to take a minute, and my chat people as well, take a minute. Think about something that you hate doing during your daily work, social, home life. I don't care where it comes from, but just think about it. Think about it. Think. My good, she just started rolling. She just had that list ready. Okay, so documenting, grading, that's what I heard. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn my temporary chat off because I need to get to these. I want to go to, oh, here's my self-development plan, just so you know. Oh, there it is. Okay. So they do a podcast, y'all. Here's the podcast. This is what I did. And by the way, if you go all the way up, here is my prompt. So you see I'm not full of crap. I actually write the paragraph first. The paragraph says, please act as a composition rhetoric professor who is providing feedback for a note-taking assignment that asks students to create notes from the lecture and put the notes in their own words. Create 150 words or less, suggesting other ways the students can continue to engage with the information learned from their classes. Boom. Feedback, right? Now, the goal for me is process-oriented. And if you wanted to, you could feed in the students without their name, without their student ID, without anything like that. But you could feed in their writing and say, pick top 3. What should this student focus on first? Because it's overwhelming when they just see all of these red marks and an F. That is not encouraging to a student, especially a student who's learning another language. That is not going to help. What will help is if you say, there's just this one thing that you can, if you can accomplish this one thing, it's gonna help tremendously. But if you can accomplish the second, or you hear the game, now it's a game again. Okay, I love games. If there's anything you leave with, know that I love games. I want to make sure that I'm hearing everyone. So this is for my educators, of course. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Anybody that's not an educator? What are y'all? Oh my God, perfect. Okay, all right, perfect. What do y'all want to see? I got something for you, girl. Okay, hold on. You see me after. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so if you were to go to the very last slide, I did not go over all of these slides because I'm insane and I put way too much in here. But here are AI-powered research tools. You're welcome. Okay, so there are a ton of AI-powered tools that will help you research literally whatever you can think of. The idea, again, is not to get out of the thinking, but to be more efficient to get to the thinking faster, okay? So we're not worried about, how do I cite MLA? How do I go in and format the margins? That is not learning. What is learning is thinking. And so let me just show you. I really like lit maps. Let's go see lit maps. So proceed with caution, everyone, because you're about to really hold on to your seat. Those of you who have higher degrees, I'm so sorry that this was not a thing for you, because you're gonna be pissed. It's incredible. I can't even think of a better word. It is incredible. And if you want to go back to school, now is the time. So I'm just going to put psychology in here. And because they came to my presentation, they're going to get it for free. Psychology. I'm just kidding. It's always free. All right. Those of you who have ever taken a college course, you're like, what is this magic? Look at that, y'all. So since 2024, since 2023, I'm clicking them at random, right? Here's 12 articles. And what a lit map does is quite literally what it sounds like. The circles are articles, the outlines are recommended, and the lines are citations. All right. Then here's how they recommend. And you can always do the settings differently if you wanted to. But if I were to click this, look at that. Oh my goodness. It gives me, oh, it's so nice. And then you can add it, right? You can tag it. Those of you who did not have this, including myself during your master's, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But you can absolutely, you can go to school now. Oh my gosh. You don't have to be without children. You don't have to be the wealthiest person. You don't have to be, I'm quite literally, y'all, part of the upper class. Now you have something. A lot of my students are coming from my same background where no one went to school. Like, no one pursued education. No one taught, that's for sure. And what I struggled with was, how do I do financial aid? I don't want to go to somebody. I don't want to sit with somebody, especially somebody that doesn't look like me. I'm really not sitting with that person. Now you have a bot. right? I just want you to know how groundbreaking it would be for someone to have been there for you, for someone to have been able to just be completely open and honest with whatever it is that you were wanting to know about the world. And that's AI. That's what it is. So if you like lit maps, you're welcome. There are more just like this that I want to make sure you know exist. And so if you go back over here, you can, have a great time. So my students in here, that's for you. How about anybody else? If you do presentations, this is for you. And these are all alternatives to PowerPoint, and they will make them within a minute. They will make them fast. Now, don't be picky because, again, my Gamma took me, oh my gosh, a month. Then those images, I was deep in them images. I don't know if you saw those threads, but I had quite a few threads. They were all image threads. So here is all the things. If for any reason you don't want to play with it today, play with it tomorrow. Honestly, the sky is the limit. There are so many things that you can do. So the image, the music, the video, the voice, the game, the art. I want to check with my chat, Steven. How's chat? Do they need anything? Oh, okay. Oh, that's scary. Something. Yeah. One moment. And there is so much more. I didn't want to overwhelm y'all, but I kind of ended up overwhelming y'all. So there is a lot more on my personal website. And basically what I did was I imagined what I would need if I were me back in 2023 of November when I was just figuring out what ChatGPT was. And I just put them all in the same spot. I put them all in that website. And I was like, here you go. I'm just going to organize this so that you don't have to go and feel that overwhelming sense of dread of like, there's so much. There's really not that much, y'all. Know your chat bot, know why you're using it and what you like about it, and then learn prompting, which is AKA good writing. That's it. That's all you got. And I really want to make sure that I'm getting everyone in the room and in my virtual space included. Laws or policies limiting AI. There should have been so many in the beginning and there were none. That's kind of how we do things, I think. Now, yes, you see, especially in the UK, there are so many laws and regulations. Here, we are just starting out. Public school hasn't even caught up, like nearly. A lot of public schools in our state specifically are trying to ban or restrict using firewalls at school AI tools. Good luck. It's everywhere, y'all. It's impossible. If a student has their own phone, they have their own internet service, and they will get through to that bot. So start seeing you can read it. You can read it, and it sounds like a robot. And because the students can't think, the students can't use it very well. And you know that they're using it. So just be aware.
We have another question here. When ethically, what would you advise when districts are pushing the usage of AI for students and teachers?
Which district is that? Because I want to be part.
Such as for communication.
I want to get paid. As far as I know, no district except for one, and it's the one that contracts with me, wants people to use it. But are they not wanting to use it, Stephen? Or can you read it to me again?
Ethically, what would you advise when districts are pushing the usage of AI for students and teachers, such as for communications?
For communication, oof. That one's oddly worded. If I could ask for some clarification, I don't know of any district that is encouraging of this, except, like I said, for one, and they're incredible. They're like top 3 in the entire state. So I don't know about that. But Dan? Yes, I have a question. Yeah.
You mentioned about, I know they came in, about that it's a necessary requirement for the user to evaluate the work.
Evaluate the work.
What age is appropriate? Because
Ooh.
they're allowed to start using it. Because
What age is appropriate? That's the question. Okay, I love it. I love that question. I'm gonna go to parents and students. Okay. So on parents and students, I have Dan who is Dan Fitzpatrick, not Dan up here. Dan, the man's over here. Dan Fitzpatrick is one of my favorite LinkedIn leaders. Incredible person and gives everything for free. Not everything, but most things. 5 questions every parent should ask their child's school about AI. It has a lot of really good questions also for if the child is ready to understand AI. You can now find and you can now create your own children's books. And I know that we did. I know. I was just looking over there because I know that she loves it. You can now create your own children's books. And so if you want to understand better how to have your child exposed to this type of information, the chatbot will help you figure out if they're ready for that information. Things like evaluative skills, I would say nothing below the age of 5, because they're not going to know what's real and what's not real. Now, there are, again, students that are wise beyond their years, and then there are students that they can barely open the door without hitting themselves in the face with it. So, you know your child, but I would say nothing below 5, and I'll tell you why. Evaluation skills are not going to come before that. And so if for whatever reason your child is part of that GT, absolutely. But I also want to show you that students who have learning disabilities like dyslexia, you also are now seeing AI-powered supports for that. So immersive readers and dictation, the bot will actually help support them, and it's really incredible. So here's the student one, y'all, and you can have, again, you can have all of this, but here's prompts for students to help you study. And by the way, there are free courses everywhere. So by no means did I get a job in tech by having actual tech credentials. I just taught myself stuff. That was it, right? I taught myself stuff, and I just so happened to do it. What's up? You want to see? Hold on, one moment. Okay. Oh, sorry, EL and bilingual students. Sorry, it's because of the microphone. Do you want to see supports that you could? Oh, okay. So the first thing that I will show you, okay, let me say this before I show you this, because you're going to get really excited and then I'm going to just let you down. It is expensive, but it's totally worth it if you're willing to pay the money. There is something called, and I am going to, it's Synthesia. And Synthesia is an AI that creates an avatar. And the avatar can quite literally speak every language in the world. And it will turn this, she's an avatar. That's an avatar. Yeah, it's insane. So I want you to think about it along the lines of, if you were starting with a beginner, you could give them their own AI avatar. If you started with let's say like a advanced, you could give them their own tailored questions to help them further into advanced high. And I feel like my boo thing right here, she's been deep in AI probably since my first presentation. So if you have time and you want to get with her, or if I can give her your contact, absolutely, because it is incredible what we can do now, especially where language is concerned. Oh my gosh, we have 2 minutes? We have 2 minutes. Okay, I want to make sure I'm hearing everyone. Best friend, anything I can do for you? I'm here to serve. Okay, Dan's good. Chris, anything for you, sir? You sure? Okay. All right, y'all. The last thing that I want to leave you with is, like, please go and see all the things that you can do, because you are probably working too hard. Stop working so hard. Give yourself some rest and let the bot do its thing. Let AI have a little bit of leeway, and then as you go, you'll get more confident. And I promise you'll start realizing very quickly, oh, this thing can do very little because it's a reflection of what I can do. And so if I can't do much, the bot's not going to do much. Go back to the enchiladas, right? You might have a tortilla and that's it. That's all you got. And you might have, a nice little flauta. I don't know. Depends on what you put in, right? So If you need anything, let me go back. If you need anything, all of my stuff is here. So I'm going to present it one more time just in case you need it. I will be at Lone Star College, helping everybody that I can. So yeah, that's all I got. That's it. Sorry. Bye, Zoom. Bye, Zoom.
So thank you, Kayla. Can we give her a big round of applause? I would like to ask everybody to do this very low-tech survey, but if you would use your phones and QR that, and so because we like to have our surveys. Those of you who are online, do the same. Although you'll get a link, you'll get an email with a link to the survey. But please take that. If you have any questions further that come up to you, maybe in the course of the next day or so, you can email me, and I will pass them along to Kayla. So thank you all for coming tonight, and we'll see you next time.